Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's episode? We have for you a couple of articles to go over. Now, bear with me. I know that normally we do clips, but I needed to show you this, really. So I'm going to be doing my best Tim Pool impression. And now, these are two articles maintaining to the shocking disparity in our societies of how the left and the right are treated completely differently. So the first one we'll start with is how a woke North Carolina student, fourth year student, medical student, bragged on Twitter about deliberately hurting a patient, a conservative patient, because they dared to ask a question about the alphabet propaganda badge she had on. Yeah, because we're seeing this push for alphabet stuff everywhere. The alphabet community, you know what I'm saying? You know who I'm talking about. Their push is so one-sided. It is so aggressive into all aspects of, first, the public sector. We expect that with the left, but now the private sector's bend into them too. And it reaches a point where they think they can just do anything to anyone, anytime, and they will always be classed as the victim. Yeah. So we'll get into this video now. We'll jump into this first article. If you haven't though, please like the video, subscribe to the Hoggcast, hit the notification bell and share the video around if you find this video informative. I also have a membership scheme which you can join. I have 9 amazing, beautiful members who honour and humble me that they support the Hoggcast and value my commentary as much as they do in this quiet little corner that we call our own. Okay, let's go. Okay, so it reads how Kychelle Del Rosario, who is a 4th year medical student at Wake Forest University, Wake Forest University. See, they say here allegedly bragged. The tweet's been deleted, although it has been archived and screenshot. It's on Twitter. There is no allegedly. She bragged about doing it, yeah. She claimed to have purposefully missed the patient's you know what, during a draw of his vital essence, so she would have to jab him twice. She said he, quote, mocked her and her pronoun badge. What does mocking mean? What do you mean by mocked? What did he do? So Wake Forest said it is aware of the incident and is taking measures to address this with the student. In other words, this student has not been fired, and because there's a big furore around this on Twitter. If you go on Twitter, you'll see that the university is closing ranks. They're refusing to answer any more questions. They're refusing, and they get this wrong when they say this. They say that they have a right to keep the outcome of the disciplinary action secret. If it was a conservative who did this to a leftist, you can be sure that that person would have been physically removed from the building immediately. So, since the tweet, Del Rosario has taken down all her social media accounts. Yeah, because it will be full of stuff targeting conservatives, which it was. So, the article goes on to state how a North Carolina medical student and an alphabet you-know-what pusher seemingly bragged on Twitter about intentionally injuring a patient of hers who allegedly mocked her for wearing a pronoun pin. She's a 4th year student at Wake Forest University School of Medicine and claimed to have purposefully missed the patient's VEIN during a vital essence draw, so she would have to jab him twice. If you've ever had those jabs, it's quite awkward, isn't it? It's quite painful. It can be quite traumatic, isn't the word, but it can be quite uncomfortable. There you go. If you've had that in you, then you know it's uncomfortable. So to do it twice, failing the first time deliberately to cause discomfort. Now, these people have something called a Hippocratic Oath, which means that you cannot discriminate against someone. You can't just So, well, that person has different politics than me. So, and you'll see this on Twitter all the time. You'll see them saying that if you refused, this was a thing here in Britain because we have the National Health Service, taxpayer funded. They were saying that the left were saying that conservative taxpayers who refused to get the first shot, the second shot, third shot, fourth shot, this jab, that booster, then they should be stripped from having their ability to get any medical help at all. Now we have this. Do you see? Do you see? Yeah, it's the Conservatives who are shadow banned and silenced and kicked out of here and told they're not welcome there. Yet we don't wish that on them. But they wish it on us. So she said, I have a patient I was doing a Vital Essence draw on, sees my pin and loudly laugh and says, she, her. Well, of course it is. What other pronouns even are there? Says this person apparently. I missed his V-E-I-N, so he had to get stuck twice. Oh, you're such a virtuous person, aren't you? The medical student acknowledged online that it was... Sorry, the medical school acknowledged online that it was aware of the incident, saying that, quote, the student's tweet does not reflect how Wake University of School and Medicine treats patients and provides patient care. We are taking measures to address this with the student. You see how they've worded that, this bit here? We've taken measures to address this with the student, not ex-student. This person is not being held accountable for breaking the Hippocratic Oath at all. And the thing is, when the final generation of the people who lived before the woke generation retire or shuffle off this mortal coil, etc., we are going to be left with, in the public sector, especially hospitals and schools, not only these people, but the even woker ones that are going to come next. Is that the type of world you want to live in? So since the tweet, Del Rosario has scrubbed her social media accounts. Yes, because she was told to by the university. This is a university that is actively trying to protect this person after they've done wrong. Big wrong. Yeah? This is what I mean. If you are left-wing, you do not get held accountable for anything. And the people that should hold you accountable for doing wrong will actively protect you. That is why these people think they can do that. At no point did this person at all think that bragging about this on social media to the world would lead to repercussions. It didn't even occur to her. Yeah. So now let's move on to how a person with a conservative mindset gets treated by the universities, in the West. Okay, so this is it's from a story in Canada. I apologise about this big bar down here. It's from the website. Just subscribe. Well, I can't moan at them for asking people to subscribe because I do the same thing. Okay. Manitoba medical students expelled over pro-pow-pows and pro-life. Imagine that. You get expelled for being this. That's where we're at. But you don't get expelled for doing that. So this man is Egyptian. So he has very conservative belief. There's a very conservative place. A lot of the Middle East is. The left doesn't want you to know that. So he was expelled for his conscientious and religious beliefs. So the university expelled this man. This is, I believe it's medical. Yeah, he's also a medical student. So they expelled him for his opinions. Not only that, he appealed twice to the university and they turned him down twice because he has his own opinions on things. He didn't harm anyone. He didn't try and force anything onto anyone. He didn't try and make you believe what he believes. He just had his own opinion. And for that, for going against the grain, he was destroyed. So he's a Coptic Orthodox student at he was at the University of Manitoba, who was supposed to have graduated this year. So he posted 3 items on his Facebook page in 2019. He was expelled in February. He was expelled August the same year. Look at all these things everywhere. So 1 year later, after losing 2 appeals at the university, he asked Manitoba's Court of Queen's Bench to review the decision. Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be good if actual, like, Canadian-born Canadians were this stringent and enthusiastic about standing up for their own rights? I mean, well, saying that, I mean, look what happened in Ottawa. I suppose they are. So I take that back. The university, meanwhile, said that it must ensure professional behaviour and attitudes in order, just like doing what that woman did, in order for its students to become doctors, and that Zaki was expelled for failing to reach that standard. Quote, get this, even after numerous attempts to assist him in remediating his conduct. In other words, numerous attempts to strong-arm him into changing his opinion. See, that's what I mean with these, with the left. With the left, you can't just take anything they say on face value. You need a woke dictionary. So whatever they say, you feed it through it, and then you'll get the actual message. Ken Champagne, the provincial judge in the case, found that there was a perception of bias. Of course, it's a university, and the university discipline system had failed to consider Zaki's charter rights to freedom of expression. The left don't care about that. Yeah, it's a foreign concept to them. The decision is quashed, Champagne wrote, and calling it incorrect and unreasonable. You could say that about the majority of thing that comes out of the universities these days. To go to university used to be a prestigious thing. Now it's nothing more than, to use his phrase, incorrect and unreasonable. Carol Grosson, Zaki's lawyer, said the family had moved from Egypt to Canada over concerns of religion and freedom, and they had it worse in Canada. They came here to find freedom, and they were sorely surprised, I can tell you that. Okay. 2 of Zaki's Facebook posts were about the right to bear arms in the USA, Second Amendment. The last, a lengthy essay he wrote for Sunday school, was about the opposite of pro-life. In his essay, Zaki argued that a doctor who provides the opposite of pro-life, which he calls one of them, should be charged with a serious crime, and mandatory referrals to a doctor who provide that. Zaki's post received 18 anonymous complaints to the university, and he was brought in for meetings with top faculty members. He agreed that he had written the post and that they were unprofessional. He then made 5 attempts to write an apology letter regarding the post, none of which were deemed satisfactory. Your 5th apology lacks sincerity, as no evidence of any personal exploration or self-examination of your attitudes was provided. That can be turned straight around on him, and not only that, on the faculty at the university. Not only that, you can apply this to everything with the left, everything at all. So this is what the university faculty are saying is their opinion and personal opinions and beliefs on that word that I can't say should trump your beliefs on it. Yeah? So what they're saying is their opinion is the standard. Yeah? That's what they're saying, that their opinion is the standard. So if you don't agree with the opinion, you don't meet the standard. So he appealed the decision to be expelled. He went through the university's internal processes. It was upheld in January 2020 and again in July 2020 by 2 other school committees. The University Discipline Committee, the final appeal within the university, found that the Facebook posts were, all that word there. Just another label. And had a negative impact on the learning environment. So, having your own opinion, an opposite opinion, is negative to the learning environment. But all of the stuff happening on universities right now, the safe spaces, the microaggressions, and all of this other stuff, that this is just the bunkum that they're teaching them. That isn't a negative impact on the learning environment. Look at the type of people, and I'm speaking to the university faculty here, look at the type of people you're churning out. That's the result of your impact on the learning environment. So the judge in question, because I've been reading this longer than I probably thought I would have, the judge found the process was largely fair, except when it came to the perception of bias on behalf of the decision makers. This is what I mean. The decision makers had a decision already because he's a conservative. Their immediate decision was, before the appeals, get rid of him. Failure to account for this serious concern is unreasonable and the decision cannot stand. Yeah? There's one bit I want to show you. I don't know where it is. So here, in regards to his apology letters and in regards to his appeals, the judge said this: "It is hardly surprising that they were all deemed insufficient, as the Progress Committee had already concluded Mr. Zaki should be dismissed." The Progress Committee. That phrase should chill you down to the bone. They are essentially the political commissars, yeah? The Progress Committee. If you want to know anything that is negative to the impact to the learning environment, the Progress Committee is where you start. You want universities to get better again. If you want universities to be respected again, get rid of your Progress Committee, because they ain't helping anyone, yeah? This is what I'm going to leave you with here, because I thought this is great. This perfectly encapsulates the whole academia thing and the people who work in these faculty boards. He, as in Zaki, the victim here, because he is a victim, describes Dr. Ripstein, who sounds like something out of a horror movie, as serving multiple roles, including investigator, prosecutor, and judge. That's exactly what he was. That's what the Progress Committee is. They are judge, jury, and you know what. They're the investigator, the prosecutor, they're everything except the defence. Oh, and by the way, the defendant isn't allowed any defence. So I'll leave you with that. We spent longer on this second article than I'd intended, so refresh your mind with this one, because that's really bad. You know, you shouldn't do that. You really shouldn't do that. The Hippocratic Oath exists for a reason. You remember, these are people who have been brainwashed into thinking that oaths are things from like the Middle Ages. These are people who break they rarely make a promise, but when they do, they know they're not being sincere. And that's why you get people breaking oaths. I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.